it's Miss Pritzel at the Appleton West Library, and I am book talking Stephen King's one of his newest books called Fairy Tale, and it is heavily inspired by fairy tales, and he kind of creates his own fairy tale in this. So, and most of you should know by now that the original fairy tales that were told are not the Disney-ified versions. They are very dark stories, very grim, if you will. So a lot of people are describing this as fantasy. I classify it as horror because it is too. You can mix genres. Our main character is Charlie Reed. He is 17 years old. He is a boy who has been defined by the fact that his mother was killed in a car accident and his father became an alcoholic as a result of it. So this was a child who is resilient, took care of himself, but also did a lot of things to let out his rage that many people don't know he did. And he feels guilt over them, but he also understands that there was a darkness in him that had to come out in some kind of way. And he's walking by the house of this kind of recluse in their town in which they live, and he hears the dog not barking but kind of whining, and he goes and investigates and finds Howard Bowditch on the ground, falling off a ladder, and Charlie ends up helping to take care of Howard and his dog Radar, and that leads to the fact that there is a shed in the back of Howard's land, and it's padlocked, and Charlie's heard noises from the shed and other things, and the dog will growl at the shed and things like that. Basically, what the shed hides is this stairwell down into the earth that leads to a fantastical world, which Charlie does eventually visit. But, there's little clues as we go along, like how Howard pays his big hospital bill is he gets Charlie to go to his house and open up the safe, and there's this bucket of golden pellets. Where did they come from? And then they have to convert them to cash and stuff like that. So, one thing I did enjoy this book a lot, but it took 200 pages for Charlie to actually go down the stairwell and get to this fantastical world of Empus. So when he does get to the land of Empus, this is a land, like I said, very fantastical land, but it's been infected by something called the Gray. And the Gray is deforming its people and leaving them unable to, they can make noises, but they're unable to truly communicate. And so people are trying to flee this land, but this Gray is spreading because there is a bigger evil in this world. Charlie's goal is to get to the main city of this world, because in the main city there is a sundial that can be spun, and if you spin it the right way, it will reverse time. And he wants to reverse time on the dog, Radar, because he wants Radar to be with him for more years, because Radar is basically at the end of his doggy life. So, like I said, this is highly influenced by fairy tale. A lot of reference to fairy tales, a lot of things you'll see familiar from fairy tales. Charlie literally undergoes a transformation while he's there, because he goes from brown hair and brown eyes to blonde hair and blue eyes and becomes the quintessential Prince Charlie, which is what people actually call him there, who has to save the world from this ultimate evil. And, that's kind of what he does in this book. So I did enjoy this book. This is the first Stephen King book I've ever actually finished, okay? And I will read more. He had me totally entranced, even though it took 200 pages to get to the let's go down into this fantasy world that we've been hearing, you've been teasing us about for 200 pages. But yes, if you are a fan of Stephen King, I recommend this. If you are a fan of fantasy with a very dark edge, or even if you're a horror fan and you can wait 200 pages for the horror, then I definitely recommend this. He is definitely probably America's best living storyteller. So, all right, if this is not your cup of tea, I'll help you find something else. Otherwise, have a fantastic day and keep on reading.